Hello, World Wide Web. It is Toby Ryan here with another version of Uncut with the soon-to-be world-famous Crash Kings. Yeah.
Thank you.
You like that intro? I can do that later on tonight if you'd like.
That was great.
When rock and roll happens on stage, that's what we're here for. We're here at Emos in Austin, Texas, the world-famous Emos in Austin, Texas, seeing some of my favorite shows of all time here. We are here to get some of the live footage from the show tonight. We're looking forward to a damn fine show. Tear it down for me, please. Please?
Absolutely.
Please?
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
We're a band called Crash Kings from Los Angeles. We're going to play you another song that you might recognize from the Zombieland soundtrack. It's called It's Only Wednesday.
I know a little bit about you guys from what I've seen online, what I've seen from YouTube, and what I've read in your bio, and anyone can read a bio and stuff like that. But as you learn the jazz and you learn your instruments and you kind of morph into a band today, like how do you bring, 'cause from what I've heard, it's very bluesy, it's very jazzy. I mean, how do you kind of morph all this stuff into one sound?
Well, I think when I was starting this idea of having like a piano rock band, I wanted to kind of do it knowing that when I was in high school, I was into Ben Folds 5.
Absolutely.
You know, I was
and
like, wow.
I see a little Ben Folds in there, a little influence in there.
Of course, because we're a piano trio,
right?
You know, and we're playing rock and roll, and I think that the one thing that I wanted to do is step a little bit away from the jazz aspect and kind of like use it sparingly and not play too many jazzy chords. I wanted to kind of go more towards the rock and pop side of things with the piano trio and try to keep it raw and rocking.
Scream, but it's only in her dream. I look around and it's you. I can't believe it's only Wednesday. And she can't see that everyone is there except for me. And I know I don't want to lose this time.
You guys are technically out of Los Angeles, but are you really from Los Angeles?
No, well, Tony and I are brothers. We're from Boston originally.
And I'm from Houston.
I got old Houston, Texas. Are you the one that went to school in Texas?
No. He did.
So how did you end up going to school in Texas and you did not? And where did you go to school? You went to
I
Boston.
never went to school ever.
Good. Stay away from it. School is bad, by the way. So how did you end up going to school in Texas and you did not?
I graduated high school before him. I'm a few years older, and of all the schools that I got into, I just wanted to get the hell out of Boston. So I was like, I'm going to go to North Texas because it's a really good music school with a great jazz program.
Right.
And so I ended up just opting to go there.
Jazz is like one of those things where it's cool to love jazz, and I wish I loved jazz, but I can't get into it. I'm not that smart. My brain is not that mathematical. How do you get into jazz at such a young
Listen
age?
to Kind of Blue. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. That's the best intro into jazz. Most people never got into jazz and then they listen to Kind of Blue. It's just a classic album, and anybody can. I mean, it's a mellow album. If you'd like to mellow out and listen, just some music to like just soothe the soul.
Was it parents that brought you into that? I mean, you come from a musical family, right?
Our father is a piano player, and he listened to a lot of Frank Sinatra and some of the old like Ramsey Lewis old piano players and stuff, and he was a lounge jazz piano player.
Standing outside, waiting around without you. Trying hard to concentrate on the no. Know you feel it, you want it, you seek the truth. Standing outside, waiting around without you. And a dream of a place on another plane where there is no light and there is no shame.
I've been to Boston several times. I actually love Boston. It's a cool city, cool people, cool vibe. I mean, the Harp. I've been down to the Harp, the bar, down to the Harbor, and Jimmy's on the Harbor. Is that still around? Is that old school stuff?
Oh, yeah.
I love Boston, man. Is it still like that, or you guys go back often?
Not as often as we would like. We actually have never played back in Boston.
You never
with
played in
this-
Boston?
Not with this band.
Okay.
No. So
right.
we're going to be touring with Rooney in December. We're excited to play the Middle East downstairs, which is a venue that we used to play upstairs a lot, which is smaller, and it'll be really cool to go back home and play
Do
for
for
some
a
of our
homecoming
friends.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
think-
can't wait for that.
Mike and I were more into doing like kind of avant-garde jazz back in Boston. We weren't really doing rock and roll at that point. So
At what age were you when you got into jazz?
16.
I was probably about 17, 18.
I think you got me. You turn around, and throw it back. Sugar, I think you need me. You bring me down, bring me down, bring me down, bring me down again. I think you got me where you want me. I think you got me where you want me. Whoa.
As far as the live show goes, is that something that was really important as you put together the music, or was it all about like when we get on stage, we're going to sound perfect, or is it like when we get on stage, we want to have fun, we want to have a blast?
It's all of the above, really. It's got to be perfect and rocking as hell. You know,
you
blood,
wanna
sweat, and tears is what we bring.
Because you want to
to
send the
the
crowd
stage.
away with like remembering your name, and you guys are still up and coming. You know, it's still up and new, and you're trying to make a name for yourself. But you want people to leave and go, Crash Kings. You got to go see them live. You got to check them out.
Yeah, I think behind all the jazz and all the pop, like glitter, Tony and I and Jason for sure, we're all really like at the core, we're garage rock musicians. Like we grew up on rock, and we were highly influenced from the 90s grunge era, and I think we get on stage and we just want to put that energy and that sweat into it, and it's like it's more about the show and just try to give as much energy live as we can.
I think it's also about, when we were kind of putting this whole thing together, we were real adamant about not using any backing tracks, and all the sound that you hear is coming right off the stage. Just like a band from the 60s or 70s where there wasn't that technology to
Right.
kind of play tracks and play. I mean, some bands did it. Some I think the Who maybe would do it a little bit, but very not like they do
Sparingly.
today. We just want to give that raw, organic live rock experience, and that was really important to us for the live show.
I think you got me where you want me. I think you got me where you want me. Come on. Come on. I'm not a sex crazy teacher. She looks at me to tell me when it's over.
Again, the Crash Kings out of Los Angeles from parts unknown. Otherwise,
Thank you very much for
Thank
having
you.
us.